What is up, everyone? And we are back. Thanks for tuning in to my I Am Photo Videos channel. So this time around, we're gonna be talking about another camera that I got like probably 3 years ago, and I don't really get to see it around so much in YouTube channel talking about it, including other photographers and videographers. No one really talks about it. And the camera that we're in question is the Nikon Z5, not the second one, the first one, the really early one. In fact, the video that you're seeing right now is this camera, so I can't really show it to you in front of my camera. So you're gonna have to watch a couple of sample footages that I have in here. So I'll do a small B-roll of how the camera looks like and a size comparison, so you'll see it. I'm gonna try to compare it with my D800. So, because D800, the body itself is like the standard size typically. Z8 is the same size and all that kind of stuff, like the typical, DSLR size. So yeah, I mean, no one really talks about it so much on the YouTube verse, and there's only very few. Most of them are out of the country. I see a lot of them from India, which is interesting. I don't know why, but in here, no one really talks about it so much. You probably already know there's several of them. If you go online, you'll see the specs of this camera. This camera is actually 25 megapixel, so it's like the standard pixel size. It's a full frame sensor, which is very nice. Right now, I'm shooting this video in 1080p at 60 frames per second. So this is the quality that you're getting. Yeah, if you try to shoot in 4K, it's gonna crop, a little bit. And just to let you know, I don't have any kind of bullet points or any script. I'm just talking out of my head out of this thing. So actually, this camera, it's the Nikon Z5 is actually my workhorse camera besides my Z8, because now since I have the Z8, I use that a lot more. Obviously, it's like the best camera out there for me, at least, And I purchased this camera from actually from KEH. I bought it at that time. It was like almost brand new, so it's still used and it's almost brand new. At that time, I think it used to cost me, I think $800, 820. My first mirrorless camera. Well, besides my Panasonic Lumix GH5, but my G85 and my G7. Besides that, so literally this is my first full frame mirrorless camera, and obviously I had a good deal with KEH. I had to return a couple of body, which was my G7. I had to return that, not return, but trade it in so I can save more money buying this camera here. And I had to trade in my lens too. I had like a crop lens. It's I think it was a 15 to 35 mil 2.8, the G lens or the N lens. I don't know. I forgot, man. It's been a long time. There's also another old body. Oh yeah, my D700, my Nikon D700. I had to, trade that in too. So I got some money back out of it. So yeah, all in all, when I got this camera with that 3 items that I traded in, I think from 800 something, I end up getting it for like 550. So it was a very good deal at the time. I'm like, holy crap, that's some good body, my first mirrorless camera. And I had to get the adapter, obviously, the FTZ adapter, FTZ1, not the 2. And it's cool that they're coming out with a 3rd now, I believe. Which I heard a rumor that they're gonna have a motor on it too, like that little key thing, so you can adapt your old D lens, that requires that key, So that's pretty cool. But that's another topic. But we're talking about Z5 here. So yeah, so I got that back then, and actually I used it on video, a lot of it on video. One of the first thing that I tried using it heavily on video was Days of Dead. You'll see it in my YouTube channel. I think 2 years ago. That's the first time I actually used this camera. with an adapter on my 24 to 70 mil Nikon G lens. And if you watch this clip, you'll see it. That's Nikon Z5. I'm just like astounded by it, you know, like, yeah, sure, there's a focusing thing, it jumps because adapter, you know, it's adapted lens, not like a native Z mount, you know. But that was the time when I'm in transition, hopefully, you know, like saving up money to buy the Z lens, and I mean not Z lens but the Z mounted lens, you know. So yeah, so primarily I use this on weddings. The low light is really great. It reminds me of not my D700. It reminds me of my D800 kind of thing, and it's very good. I mean, the autofocusing is just quick, you know, and I love that little box. When you press OK, you see this yellow box, and then if you focus on that subject, it locks it in, you know. Then you can compose your camera while you're pressing that back focus button, you know, and it follows it, which is cool. It locks it in. I like that feature, and because when I used to do DSLR stuff, right, you know, my D800 or D700, I have to, you know, use the pinpoint focusing thing, focus on that, and then I compose, you know. I mean, I tried using that 3D focusing for those. It's okay, you know, but once it gets out of the window, then obviously you lose that focus, you know. But with the Z5, like, I can go in the corner of my viewfinder and it focuses that, you know, it locks it in, which is awesome. I'm like, holy crap, you know. Obviously my shooting has gotten so much better, like accuracy and focus and everything like that. And the problem is now, my problem is that I end up keeping a lot of photos because they're all, you know, focused properly. Back then I'll have a couple of blurry shots, you know, and actually a lot more blurry shots before because it's harder, you know. So you know me, I like to shoot very shallow, 2.8 or 1.8. Oh, I got a text message here. I think I might be back. I have my friend over here. Alright, cool. I'll be right back.
Yourself and you will know, my dear. Oh, I know that it's not easy, nothing is. Hey.
And we are back. Alright, cool. Yeah, that's my friend Jamel, along with Tribe Tree Production. He had to borrow my 70 to 200 mil lens because he had to do some surprise engagement shoots. So anyways, so yeah, Nikon Z5. Yes, it's a very light camera, and I obviously purchased. You know, I upgraded. I added that cage. You know, and it's really cool because when I walked around with this cage, people just like question me about it. It's like, man, that's a sexy camera, or you know, like, oh, what kind of camera is that? That looks so cool, you know. And but yeah, it was really cool. You know, I get a lot of like people like curious about the camera, like, oh, how did he shoot? I mean, is he good? Is the autofocusing really great? You know. But if I had to compare it, honestly, obviously the Nikon Z5 and that generation, okay, the first generation, doesn't compare to, let's say, Sony, right? Sony is like, like when they do the autofocusing, it's tack on point, Same thing probably with Canon. So, but with the Z8, obviously it can match that now. Maybe it goes beyond that now too. I think Z8 is better at autofocusing now. But anyways, I digress. But Z5. So just this camera, and what I love about this camera as well is that it has a dual card slot, SD, all right, not CF Express. Because I remember CF Express back then, it was too expensive. 128 gigabyte. I was like, holy crap! It's like $150 just for that, one card, and it doesn't take two cards. You have to. Yeah, I need two cards. I need two SD cards. At least the SD card, I can, affordably buy it. So yeah, this camera is fast enough, and I can capture RAW and JPEG on the other side, on the other card. When recording videos, unfortunately, it's not like Sony that it can record on both slot. It'll record only in the main one or wherever you wanna, designate it to when it comes to video. But it's pretty fast enough, and it doesn't overheat. From my perspective, I haven't seen it overheat. I mean, I kind of know how to ventilate the camera at least, or I wouldn't like. My advice is I never shot this camera for hours on end. I would just do in clips. So yeah, so it's been very useful for me on weddings, birthdays, especially on weddings. If I had to do a hybrid shooting, I do both photo and video. I could just like take photos and then easily switch to the video and start recording. And the nice thing is that if I do the recording on the video, I can click the shutter button, and it takes a photo of it. Now, the photo will be based out on 1080p. Let's say if I'm shooting 4K, then it'll take out of 4K screenshot, in JPEG. It's not gonna use the full 25 megapixel, camera. No, it doesn't shoot in RAW. Okay, so that'd be cool if it does, but I'm sure they can create something like that. Maybe Nikon can do it, right? Or maybe Canon can do it. Sony, I don't know what they do, but in terms of Nikon, maybe they can. Who knows, right? And just be aware that when you're doing video, when you take photos with it in JPEG, whether 1080p or 4K, you can only take limited shots. Probably for 1080p, you can take maybe up to 20 photos before the buffer, max out on you. So just keep that in mind, because it'll still stop from taking photos. You'll find out by the time you try to take a photo and you went beyond that buffer, you're just not going to take photos. It's like still take videos, but the video will still keep on going, but the photos, you can't take any photos until you stop it, So yeah, this mirrorless camera, yeah, I've been using it on several weddings, and depending on the budget too, sometimes I'd use this camera as my second compared to my Z8. My Z8 would be the main. This is my second camera, I can use it for backup. I use it for primary if I feel like I want to carry light stuff, just straight out of the bag and be like, boop, like, hey, cool. And something tiny. Once there, you'll see a couple of footages in here. I used this actually just last week. The car show, World of Wheels and Tuner Galleria. I'll have that video up pretty soon on this channel, as well as Tribe 3 Production, so make sure you guys follow him. But yeah, so you'll see the full quality of it. Actually, right now, you're seeing the full quality of this thing. So, and if you guys wonder what lens I'm using the Viltrox 24mm 1.8. It's a prime lens, and it's it's nice and wide. I didn't have to really squeeze myself in. and a lot of conventions I'll be using this lens, and as well as I think this camera too, depending. Maybe by the time I go to C2E2, I might use this camera or my Z8, one of those two. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested to take a look at this camera right now, I think in Amazon they cost, let me see, is $996. They haven't gone down in price. This is brand new. If you try to go for a used one, let me see, what did they see in Amazon? It says used is like new is 814. Wow. So this past 3 years hasn't been gone down. Let me check out KH here. Hold on a sec. Let's see what KH is body only. Alright. Well, excellent plus condition. 829. So, I mean, if they have a good condition, I'm thinking maybe it might be 750. I think. So, but man, he hasn't been gone down in price. I was thinking it's gonna be, by this time around, I thought it's gonna be like $600, you know, or 700. But I think for good condition, I'm assuming you're gonna probably get it for 750. I guess this camera body is, yeah, it's still up in value. I mean, if I look at the Z6, just Z6, the first one, it's even cheaper. 744. Well, that's a bargain only. So, from KH that is. But yeah, I mean, if you happen to see this camera, I'd say scope it up. I mean, if you have the Z6, the Z5 II, I think it has that cool swivel on the side, I believe. You know, because this one's only like up and down. You'll see it in the video. I'll have it up here. Yeah, and but yeah, I think that's it. So if you guys ever decide to purchase it, you know, obviously use my Amazon link. It's in the description below. I'll make some commission out of it if you end up purchasing it from Amazon, whether it's used or brand new or like new or I don't know, refurbished. Doesn't matter. It doesn't cost you anything, but you know, it helps me and my channel, you know. So anyways, guys, up until next time, we'll see each other on my car show video pretty soon. Alright, later.